What's up, guys? YouTube personality. I'm gonna go start the podcast now.
Classic.
Dude, they all do that. What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Our name is this band right here. How are you all feeling tonight?
Get the fuck up!
For all those people in the back, I would like to see you get in the front right now and move your feet.
That's always so disheartening. Especially when it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and then they just all stand in the back. That's why I have a 100-foot mic cable.
There you go.
Because I'll go wrap it around them and then bring them into the front.
Hell yeah.
They got no choice.
Alright. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. The music will play and then I'll bring us in.
Hell yeah.
Check. Oh,
And a 1, 2.
those levels though.
You sound so pretty in my ears. Makes me happy.
Dude, you sound pretty.
No.
It's weird because when you talk like that, like Joe Rogan said it, it's like, did you ever see the ad for those things? It's like a sock, you put it on your head and like you can hear only the other person.
Yeah.
That's what it's kind of like.
Right?
Not sure why this is not going. Oh, you know what? It's because the music wasn't on, so it was going.
Oh, shit.
Still learning, guys.
This is why you don't start a band.
This is why you don't start a band, especially if you're an airhead like myself. There we go. That's the ticket. Whoa.
I love this little riff, by the way. Like, it's just like, it's on a roller coaster and it just wants to build up, and then it's like, no.
That was the whole point. Total buzzkill.
I love that.
Mr. Tim
What's up, buddy?
of Rozu? Is that
Rozu.
Rozu. What, where does that come from?
It's Japanese for rose.
For Rose?
For the rose, and yeah, DJ actually came up with that. My guitarist,
That's beautiful.
he's super into anime. We're just like looking for something that's a little different, but very easy to remember.
Yeah.
And he was like Rozu. I was like, tight.
It'll definitely be a lot easier to find on like YouTube or something.
Oh, dude, very. It's crazy. We're like, wait, nobody has his name? Great. Because that's hard.
Such a good feeling. I totally thought there was going to be a podcast called Don't Start a Band already.
Really?
Thankfully, I got in on it.
Killed it.
Because it sounds so negative, but I try and it's more positive.
Yeah, it's a negative. I love the irony behind it because
it's supposed to be like, don't start a band, ... until you hear these people talk about what it's like to start a band.
Well, it's like, from what I got from it, it's just like, it's such an ironic thing because people are like, oh, you're in a band, you go on tour, it's fucking glitz and glamour, you're making so much money, you're traveling the world. Dude, touring sucks.
It does.
Like, it's really fun for like 30 minutes every night that you get to play on stage, but like, oh, let's drive in a van for 8 hours. Oh,
or more.
This broke down.
Yeah.
We have to pay for that. Hey, we made no money tonight. Hey, we're sleeping in the van next to somebody that snores really fucking loud, you know? It's just like...
But what's funny about that?
Showering in a Walmart
snoring.
sink.
Exactly. The snoring, though, do you find when you get home from tour and you're sleeping in your bed and it's quiet, you're like...
I miss it.
It's kind of like that ASMR thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. When I was touring Victory Heights, like Sam always, how our bunks were, he was right below me.
Dude, you had bunks?
Yeah. Well, like...
You built them, right?
We had a bunk.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like in the back of the van, we took the back 2 seats out, threw a mattress down, and then we built 2 bunks. That was very like, I had this much room from the top of my head to the ceiling, and then I was like cuddled up against the window.
Yeah.
But Sam always snored, and I hated it. I never slept. But then when I got home, I couldn't sleep because I couldn't hear it snoring.
Exactly.
Like, I had to, like, he came and slept at my house for like a week and a half after we got back from one tour.
Damn.
I was like, I need you. Go sleep in the corner.
Well, yeah, and I got so used to sleeping on a bench seat that
Mhm.
like sleeping in a real bed was slightly difficult.
Do you go second bench or first bench?
I prefer the second bench, like furthest away from everything.
That's way.
Exactly. I would feel too obligated to be sitting up between the driver and the passenger the whole time.
But that's why the second bench is so prime.
Yeah.
It's because it's far enough away where you don't really hear everything.
But if people
you're
are
still
talking
alert.
shit, you can sit
You're
up.
still alert. Where you're like, what the fuck did you say?
Oh yeah. Well, when I went with If I Fail, we didn't have a trailer either, and it was 4 of us, so it was like 2 people had to sleep in the driver's seat and passenger seat
Mhm.
every night, and then 2 people got the bench seats.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, but we had a friend. He was actually the first guitarist in If I Fail. He was working for Hilton, Hampton hotels.
Okay.
And so he got us like a mad like employee status discount on hotels, so we got to sleep in more hotels than we probably should have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's clutch when you have like
It
that
was
kind of connection.
nice. Yeah. Connections are tight. That's what the music
It's all about.
business is about. It's about who you know and who can get you in a hotel bed for the night.
This is true because otherwise you're sleeping on a bench, on the floor, in a chair, and
In
you're
someone's
showering in a
living room.
Walmart fucking
Yeah.
sink.
I brought wet wipes.
I mean, wet
I had
wipes
to
are
have wet
good, but
wipes.
like, I always like to go into the Walmart, brush my teeth, get a
Yeah.
little upper body.
I mean, I
with
had to
soap,
brush my teeth as well.
like upper body soap, wash my hair, and then wet wipes with balls and gooch, all that fun stuff. Feet.
You have to. If you don't wet wipe your gooch, you are gonna have the worst case of crotch rot in the world.
Dude,
And
just-
playing, like especially if you have a lot of energy on stage, like crotch
dude,
rot and
I always have-
performing.
I always have like sweat stains right in the crotch of my pants, and I only bring like 3 pairs of pants on tour for like stage pants, and then like 2
Yeah.
for outside. And man, if you don't have wet wipes, jock itch is real. It's not fun. It's not a good time.
No, not at all.
And laundry days are key. You
Yes.
don't have a laundry day once a week. God damn you.
Laundromats though, they suck.
They do suck.
They're not fun, and it seems like we'll just leave it at laundromats are not fun.
They're not. They're boring.
So, Mr. Tim, tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's start from the beginning, and then lead that, because I'm sure along the way you'll say how you got into music. So,
I mean,
or you can start at that. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, I was born here in Littleton, Colorado. Grew up here. Went to Sheffield and
Some people
high
say
school.
Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah, Rod.
What did I say? Colorado. Yeah,
That's
it's
what I say.
Colorado. Like
I
that's
always-
how it's pronounced. It's
Colorado.
Colorado.
Alright.
But no, dude, I grew up here, and then a lot of time I was in LA with my dad. He lived out there for many a moon, and yeah, I just had a pretty normal childhood. Nothing crazy. Everything was cool. And then enough about the boring shit. This is how I got into music.
See, what's funny
It
about
just
that though
happens.
is like vloggers and stuff. Like I love the No Jumper podcast,
Mm-hmm.
even though I'm not like huge into hip hop, and I just find I will watch their normal mundane lives on their vlog, and I
Yeah.
will just consume it. And there's no reason that I should be. Shout out to No Jumper and Adam22 though, if you hear this. But still, like the boring shit, and like I love seeing that in band documentaries, and like, cause people like to know that people in bands are human too.
We all are, man. Like I was saying earlier, we're just glorified storytellers, you know. And
That's beautiful.
do you listen to Lead Singer Syndrome?
Is that a podcast?
Yeah, the Shane Told podcast
No.
from Silverstein.
What?
Listen to that one. It's a good one.
Lead singer syndrome.
Yeah, he just talks with a bunch of lead singers and bands. And
He hasn't hit me up yet.
I know, right?
Has he
Me
hit
too.
you up?
No, I emailed him. He didn't get back to me.
Lead singer syndrome.
What's
What
up,
the
Shane? Come on.
fuck?
It's messed up.
All right, so you got into music.
But yeah, it's funny because like not even my band knows this, and I sang in the choir from elementary school. So kindergarten essentially until 6th grade, I sang in the choir,
Okay.
and around 7th grade, I always played sports. I was very big into soccer, like all year round. I was just like the typical ADHD kid that like.
Damn.
Parents were like, "Hey, you need to play sports year round because you have way too much energy and you're a fucking terrorist." So, you know?
I went to drums.
Yeah, so I sang in the choir, and then just up and stopped. I started playing football, started playing soccer, just big sports guy all throughout high school, and like my senior year, I was good friends with a buddy of mine called Kyle Even from North Carolina, and like when his band, Rivendell, that was their high school band.
Really?
Dope. I'll show you some of that stuff. It's so good. I hung around with all these guys that, played music, and Kyle, one day in my sophomore year, we were driving up to the mountains, and he was teaching me how to scream to Under Oath.
Really?
So, yeah,
to which album, though? Because there's a big
They're
difference.
Only Chasing Safety.
Okay.
So, it was right when They're Only Chasing Safety came out.
It does explain, like...
I'm a lot older than you are,
style.
so...
See,
yeah, it explains...
I was wondering that before you got here. I was like, how old is Tim? But then I was like...
How old do you think I am?
I mean, after telling me that, math-wise, you might be 30?
Ding, ding, ding. We have a
You're
winner.
30?
Yeah, I turned 30 in June.
You look like, you definitely don't look 21, no offense.
No.
But like, you look maybe like 26, but like you've looked 25, 26 since we started talking at Zoomies.
Yeah.
5 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah, somewhere around.
I think
about,
5 years
about
ago.
5 years ago, yeah. That was right before I started touring a lot, so yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, so I'm old, and thankfully I have good genes in the facial area, and it makes me look younger.
There's some artist who, I don't think it's Blake Shelton. It's somebody that Joe Rogan had on his podcast, but he didn't get a record deal or like really anything until he was like 39.
Oh, dude.
And he's a country artist.
Yeah, and nowadays that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
5 years ago, they were like, if they looked at me and I was 5 years ago, they're like, "Nah, we don't want you.
You're still good looking. Let's be honest. Don't start a band podcast. Everybody listening, it's all about the aesthetic. And you know what? You're a handsome motherfucker.
Thanks, bud. So are you.
You just got that that jawline, the
It's
nose
very
ring.
defined.
I've always wanted to have that tight nose ring, but I guess my nose is just stupidly shaped.
You have a pretty nose, man.
I have the
Take
studs.
those studs out. Put a ring in it. Ring on one side, stud on the other. That was the old shit. Like
I had that initially when I got
back in
pierced.
like 2015. That was the jam.
Going back to Under Oath, Aaron Gillespie had that exact
He did.
facial piercing.
He did, and that's when Spencer still had the 2 lip rings when those were super in.
The snake bites.
I wanted to do it, but I never did.
Yeah.
My dad would have beat my ass.
What's funny is when I was 18, Colton, he was on the 2nd episode of the podcast. Him and I have been friends for like over 10 years.
Yeah.
And when I turned 18, I got both sides of my nose and my lip done in the same day. And I went to his house that day. And I walk in and his dad's like, "Hey." And his dad doesn't say a lot anyway.
Man.
But I guess like a couple days later, he was like, "Dude, when you left, my dad was like, he looks like he fell into a tackle box." And I was like, that's so good, I'm not even mad.
Well, I mean, in our generation, this is like normal. Tattoos, piercings, all
but
that
like,
stuff. It's
have
normal.
you noticed, not a lot of people are gauging their ears anymore. It's not very popular, especially like to my size, not saying that like mine are huge, but
like you got some big holes.
I definitely got some big holes.
Damn sure you do. But yeah, dude, nobody's doing that anymore.
No.
It's weird.
I don't know what, you know what, it kind of seems like we're turning back into the 90s, like style-wise, like Champion, super popular again, like all these brands and styles, like the super faded blue jeans, like there's so much 90s shit coming back.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Chance the Rapper.
That's how it does. I mean, music is just a full revolving circle. Yep. I mean, post-hardcore, I would say, went out of style in 2009 and is right now making a comeback bigger than ever. Like, especially with, like, Capsize's new song.
Yeah.
It's, like, one of the best post-hardcore songs I've ever heard.
I need to start listening to more of those bands again. Because, like, I'm stuck in, like, 2011. 2010, 2011, I'm stuck in that era of bands.
Yeah, I mean... Well, is that when you started listening to music? Like, this kind of genre? Or no? Or that genre, I may say?
That genre, so the first time I ever got my initial, like, post-hardcore, screamo introduction, or, like, is... So technically the first one was Under Oath. I saw Under Oath on an episode of Warped Wednesdays on Fuse.
You're only Chasing Safety or Define the Great Line?
I think that was Define the Great Line time, because the first album...
Such a good album to get into.
God. That tour that they did where they played those albums back to back.
I'm sure that album just made your brain explode.
It did, and I was just like, the drums, because from that point forward, after seeing Aaron Gillespie, I was like, I have to sing and play drums. And I couldn't sing for shit. And I could barely play drums as it is at that time.
Fun fact, Taste of Chaos tour, after Define the Great Line came out.
Taste of Chouse.
That was, I saw Spencer Chamberlain on stage. First time I've ever seen Under Oath play live. I saw that raw emotion, and I looked to my best friend Chris, and I said, I'm going to be that fucking guy one day.
Damn.
And then
that was the one with Taking Back Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Where they used?
It was Taking Back Sunday, Killswitch Engage, Census Fail opened up for it.
Okay.
And I think it was either The Used or My Chemical Romance.
They did a couple of them, I remember, didn't they?
I think it was The Used that year.
Okay. Because I know Seosin did it one year.
Yeah, Seosin was on the year before. I didn't go to that one. I've still never seen Seosin live. It makes me really sad.
Their drummer is fucking dope.
Dude, their whole band is dope.
But the most memorable... Okay, so there was like Under Oath, and then somebody in 8th grade showed me Guys Like You Make Us Look Bad by Bless the Fall.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know why I like their hair like that, but I want that. Parents didn't let me. And then when I was like, I want to be a hardcore kid, and people are going to shit on me for this because they're not like super hardcore. I was standing in line to get for a signing at Warped Tour 2008, and I just hear A Day to Remember go in on a plot to bomb the Panhandle. I've learned to let go. And that just like fireworks going off, and I was like, I am going down that rabbit hole.
Dude, it's weird how that happens. Like, you just hear one little thing, or you see one little thing, and it just triggers that. And then that's the next 5 years plus of your life.
What's so beautiful about music.
I love it, man.
And that's why you can't, like, shit on people for saying that they don't like, certain songs or certain types of music. Because theoretically, like, the Gaslight Anthem being my favorite band, on paper, I should love Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
No offense, Bruce. It doesn't hit
doesn't translate.
Pleasure centers in my brain, you know what I mean?
Dude, but that's the worst thing in our society right now. That makes us human. It's like, hey, dude, I don't like that. You're wrong. I'm right. No, guy. I got my opinion. You got yours. Fuck off. I respect you for yours.
See you later, friend.
I'm not your friend, guy. But as we digress.
Yes. Dude, that's my favorite thing about this podcast is we can talk as long as we want.
Dude, that's why I love this podcast too. Like every podcast that I've been on, it just needs to be a super chill vibe. And when I heard yours, I was like, yeah, I want to be on that.
Hell yeah. I'm super glad that you wanted to, because I was like, He's up there, guys.
No.
I don't know, you've always just like had that next level, and it's because like we'll get into this, but because every time we've talked, you've always blown my mind with things about, you know, not only music but like business stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, almost like if I was a listener and you had the Don't Start a Band podcast, like we had such brief conversation. Well, we had a lot of long conversations, but when you were working at Zoomies, and I feel like every time I walked out of there, I was going, all right, I know what I need to do.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and
Guy at Zoomies just lit a fire under my ass.
and that's why I'm kind of managing now too.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, dude. I just always had that. I grew up very business. Like my parents were like, so, you know, stopped in choir in high school, just played football. Went to school, then had to go to college. Like I always tried to start bands, but like could never find the right people, and I used to suck really bad. Like I grew up with like Taylor and Ryan and all those 40 Fathom kids when they were in Thanks to You still, and then like The Forgotten Secret, like all those bands, I was always friends with them, and it's just like
Hashtag LifeSpot.
dude, LifeSpot, bring it back, god damn it. MySpace
Please.
and LifeSpot.
Something.
I want those two things in 2019, please. Thank you, world.
You said that music's coming back.
It really is.
Where you at LifeSpot?
It truly is. And so, like, I always tried to find members, but I could only do... It was weird, like, learning, especially to an album, like, They're Only Chasing Safety and, like, Hawthorne Heights. I used to sing Silence in the Black and White on repeat every day to school. Just...
That's awesome.
That's where I was going. Silverstein. I used to have this thing where I would just get really drunk in high school. And when my friends were driving me home or driving me to another party, I would just turn on a band and I would sing and scream so poorly in their car to where they like hated me, but like I was their friend.
No one ever starts off being amazing.
No. And I was just terrible. Like I could only do like these super low guttural, like, you know, and you know,
I can't do the highs.
And then, you know, I went to college and...
Where'd you go to college?
I went to UNC.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went to Greeley and then finished up at UCLA online.
Okay.
And so, like, even in Greeley, I was trying to start bands all the time, could never do it. Like, I would do some guest spots with some friends and stuff like that, where they're like, yeah, we can tolerate your little guttural for a second. And when I first went to college, I called my mom, and she was like, well, it's the end of your freshman year. What are you getting your degree in? And I was like, music production. She's like, that's not a real job. Don't do that. And she, you know, she pretty much like talked me into going to business school. So I went to the business school. I finished my degree in marketing and now I have a degree in music business as well as of 2 months ago.
Damn.
So like, I was just always very business oriented. And then I like dipped off the face of the planet, moved out to LA, was working for a big corporation, their marketing department.
What big corporation?
Skechers, where I'm a store manager now. Yeah, so I went to work for Skechers in their marketing department. I was living with my dad in Redondo Beach. Had a lot of really low times in Greeley that inspire a lot of my music. Like about 80% of my lyrics that I've written in the past 3 years has been all about that time, and then reflection, and then mixed in with like some of the constant struggles. Cause dude, like Greeley, I was a fucking piece of shit, man. Like,
they're out there though.
It's out there,
it's
but
a little
like,
isolated.
I've always struggled with pretty bad anxiety and then depression. And then I was like, all right, man, I'm 21 years old. Like, what am I gonna do to mask this? And it's like, all right, dude, well, I'm gonna drink a shit ton and do a lot of drugs. It's gonna be tight. And my pancreas has shut down on me from drinking so much Jameson and...
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. It's bad. It's stupid.
Don't start a band.
Not worth your time.
Don't do drugs.
Not worth your money. It only lasts for an hour, and then you want more. It's stupid. And my pancreas has shut down on me, so I was like, all right, man, like, doctors are like, all right, you can't drink for 6 months. You need to do all this. So like I quit so many vices within a matter of a week, and I was like at a bar on New Year's being a DD for my friends. I called my dad to wish him a happy New Year's in California. He was like, man, you sound bad. Like, what's going on? Like, I can just tell you're in your mode. And I'm like, dude, I'm depressed as shit. I hate it here. I don't know what to do. I can't do any of these things that used to help me, even though they were poor decisions to help me, you know. And he was like, come out here, man. Get a job. So that night, I went home, talked to nobody except for my mother. Like, my best friend didn't even know that I moved to California until 2 weeks after.
Damn.
And put all my shit in my car, my clothes and my TV, drove out, got my life together. And then, like, 3 years later, my good buddy Carl gave me a call. He was like, hey, man, we're going on tour, like, want to come? It's like, sure, dude. Why are you asking me? He's like, oh, you want to do merch and, like, you know, be a tour manager? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, all right, well, here's the deal. We're going to Albuquerque, New Mexico for this Halloween show, and then we're going to some smaller town in Texas, and Amarillo.
Dude, I played in Amarillo.
Amarillo's tight. What
Bomb City.
Nice.
It was, the venue was like, it almost looked like a barn inside, but there was a bar as well.
Yep.
Is that where you guys played?
Yeah, so we played there before. We played in a couple
Those
of
people
places
go
in Amarillo.
off.
They really do. It's tight. But that time they'd overbooked the venue. So there was like a Rocky Mountain horror show going on inside.
Oh, damn.
And they made them play outside. And this is in Halloween in Texas, dude. It was cold as shit. It was like 20 degrees. Like I was just sitting there in like 5 layers. I was like, do you guys want to buy this shirt? Yeah. And like that weekend, like just that vibe of like just being on the road with your best friends and kicking it and just like selling shirts and watching music and meeting all these new people, I was just like drawn to it. And then from there, I toured with them for another 2 years, two full national tours. And then that's when I ended up actually taking over the vocals for them for a small stint of time.
So when they went to Europe, did you go with them?
I did not.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Probably one of the biggest regrets of my life.
Yeah.
But that was when I was about exiting out of their touring style, and
could have been toxic.
Yeah, you know, it was a weird situation with them, and I love those guys with all my heart, but it was just a weird situation. And then because that was my first show I ever played was when I was 25 years old.
Oh, really?
25 years old as a vocalist at Summit when the scene used to be good, and that place was fucking packed.
I saw you.
Yeah.
Because In Death and Decay.
With the Outline and Color show?
Yeah, In Death and Decay.
That was my first show ever.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Your first ever?
First ever being on stage. Minus like a couple, like I used to do this part in one of their songs when we were touring before that, but it was just so bad. And you know, when they were exiting with their old screamer, Carl and I had talked a lot, and like I always had like that super low guttural, still had it. I took one singing lesson from a guy by the name of Draven Gray, showed me Melissa Cross, taught me how to breathe properly.
She's the one that works with all those people on Warped Tour, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Melissa.
Shout out, like
Zen
and screaming,
podcast?
Do that shit. And yeah, dude, all of a sudden, like within a day, I had it fry.
Yeah.
I had the scream I have now. And like, I don't even know how I do it, but it just happens. And so, like, I was like, hey guys, give me a shot. Give me one shot at practice. I know you're set. Let's try it.
Yeah. And
somehow, like, you know, Carl, inevitably, it was always going to be Carl after he got off drums. He wanted to do it all, which I respect fully.
Yeah.
Because that guy, I mean, he started that shit with Sam. Like, they've been through the shit for so many years and cycled throughout so many vocalists. That's like,
Yeah.
I understood it. And he was getting tired during like the first song, and he like just waves at me. He's like, "Come grab the fucking microphone, guy." And I did it, and like Mike and Andy were in that band at the time, and like everyone just kind of like turned and looked at me on the first song. They're like, "Fuck, did this guy learn how to do this?"
Damn. Well, and by that time they had the fucking air blasters and the lights and
such a big production.
Yeah.
It was super cool, and so like, yeah, that was my first, and then that turned into being my first show I ever played. Scared shitless. I almost pooped my pants like 3 times. It was a good time. Like, it's like, I love Outline Color.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we're gonna go on tour with Outline Color. They're gonna play that Summit show. I'm like, so we're playing after them? And like, I'm talking to like Trevor and
For why?
yeah. I'm like, what? That's not sense. That doesn't make sense. I'm like talking to like Nick Taylor, their drummer, who's like a good dude, and Trevor and Skaggs. And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, yo, Trevor, do you have any advice, man? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is my first show ever. And he's like, nah. He's like, just kind of do it,
Yep.
And you guys got 2 vocalists, so I always go forward. When I got my part in case he goes behind me, and then whenever Casey has his parts, he goes forward and I go behind him. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try that. And after like the first song, which is like the intro, and it's like a predominantly like screaming song, and I go back to grab my water, and I just remember like Trevor from Outline Color and Blake Horde like standing side stage, and Trevor just looks at me and just goes, "Are you sure this is your first show?" I'm like, "Is it good?"
I wouldn't have known.
He's like, "You're fucking killing it." I'm like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah.
So yeah, and then unfortunately they dropped that tour, and I went on my first ever tour as a vocalist the next day for 2 weeks, which then led into the Scream Blue Murder tour, where I did the North America side and Canada side, and then I actually had to fly out to LA and then back home for some, other family personal matters that happened. And when it came to brass tacks, at this point we had all decided that I wasn't going to be a full member, and I was like, I'm not going to spend money to go to Europe right now, which I wish I would have, but
for the experience, but I think
I got home and I got a band, and
the route you took was better for Tim.
Yeah, it was a good learning curve.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was kind of cool.
My first show was at a Wahoo's Fish Tacos.
No shit.
It was outside on the patio.
Which Wahoo's?
The one at Park Meadows. It was an audition for a Battle of the Bands. And we played that show, and then we advanced on to the final, which is nuts.
That's just crazy they did it at that Wahoo's.
I know. It was like literally in the back corner of that patio.
Yeah, because I know that patio well.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I just remember I had a Famous Stars and Straps shirt on, Famous Stars and Straps hat on, the khaki colored Dickies, and I probably had, Vans with the high socks.
Just 100% zoomed out.
100% Travis Barkered out. Yeah.
Love it.
So anyway, Victory Heights. Yeah, I actually didn't start playing guitar up until almost 7 years ago. And like, I started playing shows when I was 12, 13.
Nice.
And then didn't start really playing guitar until I graduated high school. So all throughout high school, I only played drums. And even when I started teaching myself the guitar and started writing like my first Backseaters demos, I was still, playing drums for bands and then filling in for people here and there. I've always loved doing that just because you get to play, and you just get to play so many different styles. Like playing with If I Fail and 1,000 Miles of Fire on drums, like I was always more of a you know, accents, jazz, light-handed. I mean, I played heavy,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was cool playing with them, and like I never really had a reason to do double bass before, so being able to do breakdowns, like
Yeah.
I'd never played in a band with breakdowns, so doing that too was like, you know,
Just eye-opening.
oh yeah,
But it helps, dude. Like, doing that,
yeah,
I'm sure it has expanded to what the Backseaters are now. 'Cause
definitely.
You have, I mean, if you just throw in one influence and that's all that you got,
Yeah.
your band's not good.
Well, our
When you take all
song,
these,
yeah, exactly.
put in a
Well,
little melting pot that works.
all of the different genres and stuff that we as a band listen to, it doesn't even seem like it would come together.
Right.
But yeah, our song "Found" on the EP, the one that says "You don't have to die to be a ghost."
Yeah.
That guitar part was inspired because I was playing guitar for If I Fail, and it was more of like a pop punky, like super rhythmic strumming. And that's how I came up with the da da da.
Yeah.
And like I used to just play da na 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 na. So
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the same shit your whole entire life, it gets boring.
hell yeah,
And write the same shit too.
exactly, for sure. So Victory Heights, and then did you start Owl Eye?
No, I did not. Owl
It
Eye-
kind of seemed like, don't take this the wrong way, but now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember them being something before you started, but it definitely looked like you just went in and you were like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do.
to a stance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they actually were on that show. That was my first show.
Oh, yeah.
And so, when I was on that last tour with Victory Heights, that was right when they were parting with their vocalist, and I knew that this was going to be my last tour with Victory Heights as a vocalist. So, like, at that point, I had the hunger. I was like, okay, I know I can do this shit. I started a couple steps ahead of a lot of musicians. Like, I was very fortunate and lucky enough for that. But it's like, okay, my first show is in front of 700 people at the Sun Music Hall, and I leave for my first tour the next day, which was one of the best tours that Victory Heights has been on.
Yeah.
And, so I saw that they had parted ways with their vocalists, and I messaged them. I was like, hey, I would love to send you, I would love to try out. And they're like, their guitarist DJ responded back to me and he's like, are you the guy that's in Victory Heights? I'm like, currently, yes. And he's like, okay, do you have anything to send us? And at that time, I only had it's stupid, but also the greatest side project ever. Really Awesome People Everywhere.
Yeah.
I
That's what it's called?
Yeah, I remember talking to you about this on Zoomies. Spencer loved it, but it's just super beat down, like dun 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 dun.
Is the acronym
Rape? Yes, it is.
Okay. As
that was the whole point. It was gonna initially be Really Awesome People, and Sam and Mike were in Mike's studio, writing out pre-pro for Victory Heights, hit a little bit of writer's block, and Sam and I were like, do you want to do like a quick, like, dumb heavy song real quick, like Use Your Lows? And so it was Really Awesome People, and then it turned into Everywhere just because Rape was funny, and like, it's not funny, but it's funny in the right context. Alright, I digress. It was Rape, it was stupid.
I've known Tim for a
great.
long time. He doesn't think rape is funny.
I do not condone rape. Let's just put it out that way.
It's just
the acronym of Really Awesome People Everywhere becoming Rape is just fucking hilarious, and our lyrical content was just as atrocious, and it's bad. Like,
a lot of people don't know, but there's a lot of bands like that.
it's bad, but it's good. Like, we, like listening to like a Mirror and all the earlier Plot in You, where it's like, I'm pregnant. No.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
had
like,
that album.
so like, we wrote this song, and it was, I can't remember what the name of it was, but at the end of it, it's just, I just had a bad day. Like Sam and I were just having a bad day.
Yeah.
So like the first thing I ever recorded as a vocalist was I'll slit your throat and watch you bleed out on the floor, bitch, blah.
Damn.
And then it's just dun dun, and there's a sick Archer reference. But so we ended up writing an EP that's like 4 minutes long. I'll send it to you sometime. It's 5 songs, 4 minutes long. It's just like all under a minute songs that are just heavy and stupid.
Yeah.
We actually recorded with Seth Munson. Yeah, it's dumb. But they're like, so Ally's like, can you send us any music? I'm like, well, I mean, I technically yes. And so I sent him and I was like, hey, so this is a joke side project called Really Awesome People Everywhere. Here you go. And DJ hit me back up and he was just like, hey dude, I knew who you are. I saw you at that show.
Yeah.
How long you been doing this? I was like, oh, that's my first show. And so when I got back from tour, he was like, yeah, here's 3 songs, learn them, come try out. So I went in and tried out, and I did 1 song in a quarter of the other, and then we all just kind of stopped and talked. Yeah. And like, you know, as you brought up earlier, like I'm very business oriented, and I have that mindset that's like, okay, what are you guys looking to do? Because at this point, like, I've only known touring. I've only known like trying to do bigger things.
Well, and like you said, you had that hunger already.
Yeah, like there's a carrot. There's a carrot in front of me, and I'm trying to get that fucking carrot. You know, so so you know, we sat down and I was like, where do you guys want to be in the next 2 years? And they were like, we want to be here. And I was like, okay, cool. And they just looked at me like, you know, we started another song. And they just looked at me and I was like, so are you down? I'm like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do this. Like, I was just all in. I was like, okay, I have an opportunity. I've tried for so many years. I got one lucky opportunity with Victory Heights, like, just to get the mind for touring as a tour manager and a merch guy, to where normally it was just like, I'm just there to have a good time, make sure all my bros are taken care of, and sell merch. And like from how many friends I met and just the networking, seeing the backbones of the industry, like I was just like, okay, I want this. So it was a snap call, and I was like, yep, let's do this. Yeah. And then we immediately started writing. We played like one show.
I think I saw you guys. Did you play at the Marquee?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I saw you open for somebody at the Marquee.
Silent Planet or Dayseeker?
I think it was Dayseeker.
Or like we played with Sky Darkens. I think it was Dayseeker.
I believe it was that one.
Yeah, that was our last show ever.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we put out an EP. I have nothing but respect for those guys, but it just the mindsets were never there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, especially you've been playing music and playing in bands since you were, do you say 12, 13?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Like, I started my first band when I was 12.
So you know how hard it is to like find the right group of guys. Where it's like it's hard being in a band and everyone being on the same page, because we all have life surrounding us, and it's like, okay, my ideal of this idea that we want to go for, there's one avenue to where everyone else has a different avenue.
Yeah.
And some of those avenues, they're never going to get you to that destination. And so that's where Ally essentially came to the end. And you know, like I was very calm and mellow for like the first 5 months of being in that band until our EP came out, and then I was like, okay, like I'm not the new guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
and you got a bust ass.
I'm not the new guy anymore. Like, I took a lot of responsibility upon myself. I did all the social media, basically funded everything.
Yeah.
You know, for quite some time. Bought us a van. Did like so much amount of promotion and bullshit trying to get us all the steam. And yeah, it just, you know, some things just had to come to an end, and like at that point I was done. I was just like, all right, it's not gonna work out. Tried so hard, and then, you know, a couple months down the line after managing, so I was like, all right, if I can't be in a band, I can at least find people that I see me in
Yeah.
them, and I can help them develop and steer them in the right direction.
Yeah. Were you working with Rain in July
Mm-hmm.
when I saw you at the Marquee?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I remembered you saying that, but I couldn't.
Yeah,
remember.
so started working with them last September was when Ben really started to do stuff, and he had actually hit me up about if I had any music projects and I wanted to be managed, and I was like, no, but I want to get in that. I want to manage. I know some things. I got some good, ideas and good traits about me.
Some things is a slight understatement.
Nah, it's all simple. You just gotta know we're given tools, and you just gotta learn how to use those tools.
Yeah, you have the.
You take the time.
Yeah, you have the lighter fluid and you have the matches, but it's lighting the fucking match.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's there getting the spark. And,
Yeah.
like just how you're saying at Zoomies, like I'm good at lighting a fire under people's asses, just like the knowledge I've gained from what I was lucky to be part of for 4 years. I was touring a lot for 4 years, which was fun, and I learned a lot. And so then I started working with Ben with Ray in July, and then that's kind of when DJ came back to me and he's like, I'm not over this. I'm like, you're right. I didn't do what I wanted to do. And we started thinking of ideas for a band and found 2 really awesome dudes to learn without them. This wouldn't be a project. I would have given up without those guys, because I was like, we're going to do this. We need the right people with the talent, the mindset, and the experience. Yeah. And that's where Brian and Hank came in. Mm-hmm. And we started Rozu. Oh, the Rozu.
The thing that we were talking about before the podcast is people overlook how important it is to build a sturdy foundation. Like a lot of people, and I'm guilty of it, 100% of just like, I want to be in a band, I have these songs, I'm going to put them out, go! You know what I mean? I don't have promo pictures, I don't have this, I don't have that, go! You know what I mean? But like, you did it, and then, Night Love, right?
Yeah.
That dude did the same thing, built hype.
Dude, Taylor's killing it.
Yeah, well, and the fact that he releases a single every so often and a music video with it, like, it just, like, I don't know. Anticipation, like we were talking about, building anticipation, making people curious as to what you're doing.
It is, and, that's like the main thing that I told Ray in July. I was like, you guys, if we're working with you, like, you're not playing every weekend. And like,
you can't do that.
I very much dislike it when bands are like, oh, well, we're going to play this weekend, and at the end of the set, just so you guys know, if you want to see us again, check us out next weekend right here, same place, same set.
They don't.
And nobody's going to fucking come, dude. What more do you have to offer them? So it's like, it's just small things like that. Like, play your home market once or twice a year, at the most once a quarter.
Yeah.
If you
but
want
promote
that, but
the
promote
shit.
And write good. At the end of the day, if you write good music and you release it in a proper way, things are gonna happen. But if you write mediocre music, you play it every weekend, and you're wondering why a record label, a manager, a booking agent, you're not getting on this show, you're not getting on this tour, you're wondering why all these things aren't happening, it's because you've already fucking worn out your hype.
Yeah.
You've already done it.
But at the same time, do you think...
There is a place to start.
Yeah.
Like, if you're starting and you're a brand new developing band, you've never been in a band before, yes, do that.
You need to meet people.
Get in front of as many people as you can and grow. Yeah. We're just like I don't know, I always feel arrogant when I say this, but it's just like, we're not at that level. Like, when we're a new band. We've released 2 songs. We have yet to play a show. Yeah. We practiced a handful of times. But we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
you know? And it's just because we have that business mentality. And, you know, it's jaded and it sucks. And at the end of the day, people are going to listen. They're going to be like, God, that Tim, he's a fucking arrogant asshole. But it's like, nah, dude, like...
People have been saying that probably about me since episode 1.
Oh, they've been
Here
saying
we are,
that.
number 12.
They've been saying that about me since I was associated with VH. Love you guys. But
I don't think they
I'm
watched
just
the
kidding.
podcast.
They didn't. But but no, dude, it's just, you know, it goes back to that thing where it's just like, you gotta, write cool music, dude.
Yeah.
That's step 1. Step 2, just know what your goals are and then do it. Like, we all came together, and like, Rozu has been a band since November of last year.
Okay.
Or November of this year, of 2018. So almost a year. When did we release our first single? June. When did we announce our band? May.
Before that, for sure.
2 weeks before we released the first single. How many songs do we have done and finished and recorded right now? 22.
Oh, Jesus. So,
like, or close to there, at least. We have a lot. So, like, we were just like, let's go in, let's write as much as we can, let's get some shit done. And then when the pieces are there, we figured out our aesthetic, we figured out everything from how we're going to look in promos, how, like, the ideal of this rose blooming with, like, our hashtag rose will bloom. You know, like...
I never noticed that.
We are the rose. Like,
yeah.
Rozu is Japanese for rose. We are this entity that is blooming and becoming its own. So it's all around this blooming rose. And as you're going to see for the next year and a half, as we continue to release this shit, it's all going to make sense. Just because we really, like, did the groundwork and we're like, here's our aesthetic. Here's the vision. Let's fill in the pieces.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, all of these singles that we're releasing, because we went out, I went out and recorded, I was recording 5 songs with my friend Tyler Rule, who's a producer in San Diego, guitarist for Noble, best dude ever, toured with him back in the Victory Heights days, love you, boo. And, you know, we started recording these 5 songs the day that Dissolve came out, which was a song that Rozu didn't even write together. That was just me and Tyler.
Yeah? Yeah.
I got bored one weekend. I was all angsty. This was right before...
Did you play all the instruments?
Nope. Tyler did.
Damn.
It was actually really funny. It was before Rozu was even developed.
Yeah.
Before we had Brian on board. We kind of had Hank on the fence. But Hank's, like, just the dopest dude. We were like, here's a vision, here's a style. And he was like, I'm fucking down. And so, that's it. Like, that was Hank. Him and I had a couple beers. We meshed well. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're in. I'll let you know, like, what's going on, what the next step is. And, you know, getting back into that music, I was just like, all right, man, I haven't seen my friend Tyler in 3 years at this point. I miss hanging out with you. Fly out here. Let's, you know, write a song, because he's a very, very good songwriter, and he's come a long way in the past 3 years. So I was like, yeah, dude, let's fucking do it. Let's hang out. So I flew him out to Colorado. We hung out for 5 or 6 days. The first 3 days was just a drunken shit show, as it always says with me and him. Yeah, you know, we went to a couple shows, had some nights, and then we sat down. We recorded everything in my apartment.
How's that pancreas?
It was good. It's doing good.
Yeah.
I control myself now. As long
you
as
took
you
time off.
Yeah, as long as you don't drink a bottle of Jameson a day, every day for a year and a half, 2 years straight, you're gonna be good.
That's good advice, Tim.
But if you do that, you're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have some complications for sure.
For sure, dude. And you know, I really don't drink that much anymore. Like, I have beers every once in a while, but I don't get, like, hammer drunk as often as I would like to. But yeah, so we wrote this song structured it. Love the instrumentals. We got everything going. Recorded all on Reaper. With just like some shitty plugins.
Yeah.
And then my mom was out of town. We actually drove to her house up in Highlands Ranch, just because I lived in an apartment, and it was the last day. We needed to do vocals at night. And so we set up a blanket fort booth.
Okay.
So essentially I just had 3 comforters over my head, sweaty as fuck.
You were holding them
Mm-hmm.
at the time you were doing vocals?
Yep, with an SMB7. I was literally in my underwear, and that's it. I was hot as fuck, and we wrote all the vocals that day. We had the melody for the chorus, not even the chorus, just the verses, and we just kind of freestyled it.
Yeah.
And 2 hours of tracking vocals, we had dissolve. Or we at least had like what we had, and then Tyler went home, mixed in. I'm very critical when it comes to mixes. Thank God his mixes are getting good. He's just getting new high scores every time, and like we it came onto, all right, what song do we release first? Yada yada, and Brian, he's just like, dude, why don't we just release Dissolve? If that's not a Rozu song, I'm not fucking down. And I was like, cool, let's have that be the first release. It was a lot of shit that I needed to get off my chest. From a personal standpoint, I was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. And sure enough, did well. Released that, started tracking the next couple songs, released the last song in September, and we just seen this like steady rise of just like growth, and it's just like, okay, Dissolve did this when it first released, Faces is doing this, and right now we're getting ready to record a couple music videos for the rest of the releases, and really give people like the first hand look at who Rozu actually is outside of the promo.
That'd be dope.
And we did it in a proper way, like we released 2 singles, haven't done much. We keep up on our socials with content, and then we...
Every day.
Every
other day.
That's where we'll disagree. Agree to disagree. But no, we started working with a PR company.
Yeah.
To where right off the bat, we were doing a bunch of interviews and press releases and stuff like that for all these different variations from the very bottom to some bigger ones like Substream Magazine. I think we got a full page spread in there a couple weeks after it dissolved.
You guys got that look that I feel like if you were flipping through AP, would definitely come to a spread where it would have, you guys on it. Like, you have that look, like you would be an alternative press for sure.
I wish, man. That'd be tight.
We'll get there.
We're thinking about AP, but they're kind of dying. Not that many people are working with them anymore. Like, I love you, AP, but you guys are kind of fucked off in the past 2 years.
I grew up on AP. I have
same, man. Like, I remember reading, like, I got this issue of AP, and one of my best friends in the whole entire world's on the cover, being Kyle. And I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't even care what AP has to say. It's either Sleeper and Sirens, fucking Blackfield Brides, or it's like bullshit, like meme stuff,
Yeah,
like
5 Seconds of Summer.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't, like, I care, I respect these bands, but at the same time, like, talk about music, dude. I don't care about your review of the new Halloween movie.
Yeah,
I don't care about, like, this kid on TV that dressed up like a fucking turtle. Or, like, I'm sure they covered that at some point, but, like, just spitballing here. But it's just, like, I open up AP every now and again, and I look at it, and it's just, like, 2 articles out of every 5 days are actually, like, like, well written and, like, have a meaning or a purpose behind them. The rest of it's just all fluff. Yeah. It's not about music anymore. It's just about staying relevant. And
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, it's just all about staying relevant, dude. And yeah, I love them. I wish they took it back to their roots, because they're like the longest lasting standing like of this genre that actually is doing things. And it was like, I mean, dude, like, it took them 3 days to even say something about the new Under Oath song. Like, fuck off, motherfuckers.
Damn.
I Hate It is the greatest song from that album. They were on point when they first released stuff, but still.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that take you 3 days? It's fucking under oath.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Well, back in the day, I mean, they probably sent their shit to AP beforehand, so that the day they released it, they probably had,
Yeah, that's
you
how.
know, something already written. But
That's how it normally works. It's like a 3 month to a 6 month plan is
Yeah.
how things used to be released,
Mhm.
and now it's like at most a month and a half. It's almost about 90 days at most
really?
for releases, like to create hype. Because we live in a digital age, man. There's new songs
So
coming out every
fast.
day.
Yeah.
And our attention spans, like we have these phones, everything's on here. I can look at whatever I want, and I'm like reading about Pokemon 1 second, and then oh cool, something else came up. This band just dropped a new song.
Yeah.
And you know, that's where we need to look at where the industry's going. So like our whole idea is just let's release a song, build off it for a month or two, release another song, build off it for a month or two with content, release this third song. That's going to be when our first show happens. Build off that. We have this song. After that, tour. And then we have this final song, which is Dope AF, that one I showed you earlier. Love
It
that
was.
song.
It was rad. The
And then-
feature on it was dope as well.
Yeah, and then we'll have that, and then we've been working on an album. So it's
Yeah.
like single, build hype, build the foundation. We're working on a couple tours, working on a couple shows, and then we'll start promoting the album in like March, April
Yeah.
for a May release. And it's like, that's just how it has to go.
So
That's why I don't like when bands just are like, oh, we recorded this song last night, it's so cool, dropping it.
yeah.
No.
Not unless
This is
you
why
put
people don't
1,000
listen.
Not unless you put $1,000 into sponsoring it, but
Yeah.
it sounds like from what you're saying, and I mean I've even heard this as well, is like, you know, if you're a smaller, definitely unsigned band or whatever, especially like seeing your guys' growth, Night Love's growth, you know, all that stuff, like in this day and age, would you say it doesn't really make sense within your first couple of releases to put out a full length? Because everybody's in an age where they want singles and then, oh, an EP, here's 4 songs, and then single, you know?
I don't think so. From my personal standpoint, I don't think albums are important anymore.
Yeah.
They're not. Because
Sorry, a place to rest your feet.
I mean,
No.
I mean, albums are cool. Don't get me wrong with that.
I didn't really like take that in the wrong way.
Yeah.
The thing with that is like it was me and David's first release because like
Yeah.
the first release was all me,
Yeah.
and so it was David and I's first release. It was super indie. I had 11 songs that I couldn't choose from,
Yeah.
and so we were just like, "Here you go, world."
Yeah. No, I mean, like, albums are cool and it's good, but at this day and age, it's like, okay, we could have gone in and we could have wrote an album. We could have wrote an album like most bands do, where they all every song sounds the exact same. Like, you know,
And there's filler songs.
you have your core 4 singles, and then you have your filler songs around that same style.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Especially being a new band, what if people don't catch on to that?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, you put yourself into a hole with an album to where a proper album release, you know, you release 1 single, 2 single, 3 single, release the album, and then you tour off that for a year to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
More like 1 year nowadays.
So if people don't like that album,
Mm-hmm.
what happens? You're in the exact same place where you started.
Yeah.
So like, especially for us, I mean, Dissolve was super post-hardcore. Faceless is heavy as fuck. One of the heaviest songs I've ever written.
That sounds like a heavy song.
It is.
Faceless.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, it's very hardcore. It's talking about some of them greedy days.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we wrote, like, you know, like, we just want to be that band that we want to stay true to our post-hardcore roots, but we also want to branch out. So, like, the next release, dude has one of the most new metal choruses of all time.
So if you had to put one genre on it,
It's post-hardcore.
okay.
Just because it's such a vast genre that has taken so many influencers from other genres that it gives you that creative freedom.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, people don't say people didn't catch on to Faceless. And then the next song comes out, people catch on to that. Cool. So now we know. The next song that comes out after that is even heavier than Faceless is.
Yeah.
If people didn't catch on to Faceless, maybe we can hold off on this one for a second. Maybe that can just be a B-side and something that we just throw up without no promotion. Just something else for Spotify listeners or to play in a live set. But we have these tools where it's like we don't have to pigeonhole ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're the kind of band that writes Faceless one day, and the next day DJ comes into my house, into my studio, and writes an acoustic riff. And then we have this ballad acoustic song.
Damn.
Like that's how we are.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves, man. Because when you pigeonhole yourselves, like you have no room for growth. You have no room to find out which demographic it is.
Exactly.
You're writing for the wrong reasons. Like we're writing for us and only for us. So.
Well, if you listen to, Cinema, which was the first single off of that first EP I did, it was straight like folk rock, like dun 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 dun. And then you listen to the Phantom EP, night and day. And we have never once, like, I think on our Facebook book it says like indie alternative or just alternative, or I've simplified it to we play rock and roll. There's electric guitars and drums. And
we play music.
That is it. Yeah, exactly. And because I don't even know what to say. Sometimes people will say, "Oh man, you sound like Blink-182," and then the next day they'll say, "Oh, you guys sound like Turnover." I can't remember what Prelude Press said. They said Turnover mixed with somebody. If you know, drop it in the comments. But yeah, you're absolutely right about not pigeonholing yourself. And I feel like, no offense to pop punk, well, okay, Story So Far.
A lot of offense to pop punk because it's all the same shit. It's the same music. Like the only band that like actually progresses from album to album is State Champs, in my personal opinion.
Well, have you heard Story So Far's new album?
No. I kind of gave up on them. I'm sorry.
Okay, but you know me, okay?
Yeah.
My word is semi-decent in your eyes.
No, it is. It's very decent. It's not just
their new album. Dude, it made me fall in love with the Story So Far again, but it's not even like pop punk.
Yeah.
And it comes from like a lot of it. I don't know if a lot of people noticed, but I noticed, and I've said this to people before and they're tired of hearing me saying it, but way earlier this year, around February, I started getting obsessed with Oasis, like beyond obsessed. And then like a month after that, Parker Cannon starts posting pictures of Oasis in his Instagram story, and I was like, oh shit. And then you listen to their new album, and it's got a 90s, like almost 90s psychedelic, like rock and roll feel, you know what I mean? Doesn't sound it doesn't sound anything like Under Soil and Dirt at all.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely listen to what is that? The single. They have a music video for it. Oh, it's not Take Me As You Please. It's it's gonna pop into my head. I don't want to.
It's gonna be one of those things that like pops up at like 2 a.m. tonight. You're like, fuck, that was the name.
I'm like, Tim, on Instagram, I'm gonna be in your DMs. Tim. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna take over talking here for a second.
Quick break. Let's jump out.
Yes. Down to the other end, hang a right, and it'll be on your left.
Perfect. Thanks, brother.
So yeah, that's a lot of information just now, Tim, like we said, I've known Tim for 5 years, And ever since I met the dude, he's been so eccentric and so like, you know, Taylor Hahn and Tim are both very, very confident people in the best way possible, because, you know, they not only believe in what they do, but they have that backbone and that foundation to be able to say, I know what the fuck I'm talking about, you know what I mean? And like both Tim and Taylor Hahn have proof, you know, because of bands that they've been in or projects that they've put out, you know, I've learned a lot from both of them, and Tim is definitely, like we said, lit a fire under my ass, as far as like touring goes, promotion, and the way he's going about Rozu is definitely, you know, it's working out really well, and I wish that I would have started the Backseaters the way Rozu and Night Love have done it, because it's just genius. And like a big thing for a release, pre-release, is building anticipation. You want to build anticipation and make people excited, you know. You can't just drop it, you know, have a release date, drop it, and just, you know, let the dust settle and see what's going on. You have to like build anticipation. And going back to Oasis and going back to previous conversations of the podcast, that's why, you know, before we put out the Phantom EP, I kept saying this album is gonna be huge in Europe. We're gonna have the biggest EP in Europe, and I just kept saying it. Did I 100% believe it? Absolutely not. But you tell everybody that your EP is going to be the biggest EP in Europe, people are going to be like, you're full of shit, shut up. And then the other 50% of people are going to be like, oh yeah, well, I'll listen to this release when it comes out, and I'll tell you if it's going to be the biggest release in Europe. But people end up checking it out. So, you know, there's definitely a level of believing in yourself, but I was telling the listeners and the viewers that it's all about the pre-release hype, and then once you release it, another huge thing is you can't just drop it and, you know, do a release show and go silent. Yeah,
you own it.
You gotta shove it down people's throat.
It's know it, show it, grow it.
Yeah. What?
Know it. Know it, show it, grow it.
I heard all the its, and then I heard grow it, and yeah, what?
We're growers, not showers.
100%.
Truth.
Griffith from Fox Lake can verify that for me.
I love that kid so
much. Dude, Griffith is one of the most genuine, honest human beings. You want fucking honesty, hit up Griffith and he'll tell you like it is.
Oh yeah, he said that really awesome people was shit, but he liked what we were doing.
Yeah. No, he's...
I love that kid so much.
So down to earth, and like Fox Lake...
That whole band, dude.
Fox Lake, that's another band that's doing the, you know, releasing singles.
They really are.
Yeah.
They're doing it in a very, like...
Have you seen them live yet?
Yeah. So they were on...
Fox Lake. I'm going to have them on.
They were on that show with us. As the Sky Darkens tour kickoff. We played that show with them. It was like one of our last shows.
It was Owleye?
Yeah.
As the Sky Darkens, Fox Lake. That must have been like one of their first shows.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like their like third or fourth.
Yeah. Were they covering Limp Bizkit at that time?
Fuck yeah, they were.
Dude.
Because
they kill it.
I straight up told Brandon, when Brandon sent me the first single that they recorded.
I love Brandon as well.
Like, B. Kemper, I love you and your mustache. I want those rides all day long. But no, he sent me that first single. I was like, if you guys don't cover Limp Bizkit, then I fucking never listen to you. And sure enough, he was like, oh, don't worry, bud. We are. I was like, thank God, dude. Because honestly, if you're a fan of music and you say that Limp Bizkit is trash. The name is trash. I'll give it that. But if you say that Limp Bizkit's trash, I don't trust you, man.
The thing about it is
Limp
like
Bizkit fucks. Like
you ask a bunch of people, especially like when they played If I Fail's EP release show. I mean, if you ask everybody in that room, I'm sure 70 to 80% people would be like, fuck Limp Bizkit. But then they come in on that song, it's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up, and everyone just knows every single word and is singing along.
yeah. Dude, so many.
Yeah.
Rollin', yeah, you know the words. You
Rollin',
know break
rollin',
stuff.
rollin'.
You know Nookie. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, you can say that you don't like that band, but you know their words.
Yeah.
That's called longevity,
Yeah.
and it's called writing good music.
Fred Durst has a beard now.
Yeah, well, did you hear about? Yeah, did you hear about Ollie Sykes, like Bream the Horizon, trying to write their album?
I feel like something popped up on Facebook and I saw both of their pictures together.
So they paid Ollie and Jordan 50 grand, or like some ridiculous number. It was in like the tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
They paid him this to write their new shit.
Bring Me the Horizon to write Limp Bizkit shit.
Yeah. So Jordan and Ollie were signed on to write their new shit, and then Jordan and Ollie were in the studio for like 3 days, and they're like, "Fuck off with this." Took their money and bailed. Like got paid, bailed.
That's fucked.
Which is hilarious, but it's also cool because like who would have even thought, 10 years ago? Like, dude, like, all right, talking about progression, going back to progression. Look at fucking Bring the Horizon.
Yeah.
Deathcore, metalcore, poppy metalcore,
Yeah.
and now, oops, they're way up here. They're in the stratosphere,
Mm-hmm.
getting paid $50,000 to sit in the studio for 3 days with Limp Bizkit.
Damn. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though that.
And they changed, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Drown. I love Drown. I love that song.
Song's so good. That whole album.
I don't like Throne though. Sorry.
I liked Throne for the sheer fact.
Or as Ollie would say, Throne.
Throne. This song is called Throne.
My throne.
But that song's it's just catchy.
Yeah.
It's catchy no matter what. I mean, dude, like the instrumentals were bought by the NFL like 5 days after that song released.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
Monday Night Football. Like,
I don't like it, but I know the melody.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, all right, that could be my least favorite song that Bring the Horizon ever sent out, but
I respect them for sure.
And you're like, oh, that's Throne.
Yeah, I respect them for sure.
Yeah, and it's just, and they saw that, okay, they were deathcore, they learned how to write good music, they did all that they could in a metalcore heavy society, so they expanded more.
Yeah.
We're doing that, but just on a much faster pace. Which is like, cool. Like, because as we were talking about, like with like Spotify and all this digital stuff, new stuff coming out, you don't need a label anymore. If anything, labels need you.
Yeah, 100%.
Labels need to sign you to take 30% to 50% of your publishing.
But you just need
how good of a deal you get.
And distribution. You just need this
For what?
self.
What stores have music? Where's their distribution
that's
at?
True.
Best Buy don't got no more. Target's very hard to get into.
Oh, Target, the shelves are empty. They don't have new shit, which is crazy because when the Story So Far's new album
They still
came
have
out,
Hybrid Theory on their shelves.
yeah,
Which is crazy.
Yeah, they have the Marshall Mathers LP, and
That album fucks, dude.
it does, but it's
I love that album.
this probably the same copy that's been sitting there for the past 6 months.
Absolutely, man. But like, why do you need distribution anymore? Like, unless if like you cut a deal with Merch Now or the label is backing you for the upfront cost for like 200 copies of CDs and then maybe 50 limited edition vinyls to 100 limited edition vinyls, like that are all being distributed
I would
through your
love to have a
website.
vinyl.
I would too. I want the vinyl so bad.
There's so much money.
They're so expensive.
With distribution, though, this is my ignorance speaking here. So, like, obviously, not a lot of places sell CDs anymore, but when a company distributes your shit, do they have any pull as to getting you like on a new release page on iTunes, or any pull for really like putting it in people's faces more than it would say if, you know,
They
the Backseaters just released something?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Especially now with Spotify's data actually
Mhm.
worked for like their editorials and stuff. Just about anyone can get on those as long as you submit it and they're like, okay, this will work well with this playlist.
Yeah.
But they keep generating new playlists every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's really the good thing that a label will do for you. A is be a little bit of a piggy bank, and B help with their marketing resources and networks. Like, of course, like, you know, you get signed to Sony IM, you know. Obviously, they're going to talk with their connections that they have at iTunes or Spotify and be like, okay, this band is dropping a new song. You need to put them because you owe me a favor.
Yeah.
Or, hey, we'll throw you some shekels here and you're going to put them on your playlist. But that's really all the distribution is now, to where you and I can sit here and you can work with these sites like, you know, DistroKid or TuneCore. Especially DistroKid, you pay $15 a year.
Oh, really?
To put up as much music as you want.
Is that better than? Wait, what? You just upload it to that website and it just shoots it to iTunes?
Mm-hmm.
Cause we're using CD Baby right now. What's the difference as far as like?
That's the one that I don't know much about. Is CD Baby.
Yeah.
Because we use TuneCore with ROI, and that was kind of like a pay for a song by the year.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're putting up a single, you're gonna pay $5 to distribute it out to whatever site you want they work with. Where DistroKid's kind of cool to where it's like, okay, they have like different plans to where it's like, all right, if you just want to put up one song, it's like $5 for the year.
Okay.
Or like $5 all around. But like you just create a count. And of course it's gonna like cap you at a certain amount of songs, but it's like right now for our plan we're at 100 songs, which fuck, if we get to 100 songs, dope.
Yeah.
I'm into that. But it's like 100 songs, $15 a year. But you can upload as much as you want throughout that year. And it's like, okay. And then even after you're done paying for it, unless if you personally tell them to take it down, it'll never be taken down. And you'll still collect your royalties.
That's awesome.
So like you can break up and still have your, you know, you can be done with music, have kids, whatever life endeavors hit you. And your music will still be up there and you'll still collect, you know, the very small amount of royalties that you get. But I mean, that's how distribution works now. To where, you know, like a label is going to get you on, you know, like a song premiere on AP, a song premiere on Billboard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can just also pay for a PR advertising company to do a PR campaign for your next release, which could range anywhere, like depending on who the company is, like $50 a month to, you know, $2,000. And from that, they're gonna give you a great release on a good website. They're gonna give you a bunch of press, develop an EPK for you, and help you out promote it.
Yeah.
Because their name's on it, and they're gonna help you promote it. Because if they don't promote it well, then no one's gonna go back to them.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's another thing that gets overlooked a lot is EPKs, electronic press kits, for those people who don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of like having a website nowadays, to where it's not integral, but I think that's the right word.
Integral.
It's not like a main.
Maybe?
It's not a main focal point.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you don't have to have a website, but it also doesn't hurt to have a website. Like for us, like we have a website and we kind of use that for all of our news shit. It's like we have a newsletter. If you sign up for our newsletter, guarantee you're going to hear anything that we do 3 days before everyone else is going to do it.
Oh, that's smart.
Just for taking the time.
Yeah.
We do like pre-order shirts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everything through our website. but you don't necessarily need to have it, and it's the same way with EPKs.
Okay.
You don't need to have it because all you have to do, like if you're shopping yourself, this is a little band tip. Shopping yourself, you take your best looking promo to where you can sell somebody on your image and how you look, and just be like, okay, they Rozu, post-hardcore band. Look at our promo. Yeah, they look like a post-hardcore band. They have that look.
Yeah.
And then you give them a link to, you know, you can either give them a backdoor link to an unreleased song, or you can give them a link to Spotify.
Yeah.
Or you can just put the file right there, send it off to anybody with a personalized message, not just copy and paste shit, but
they'll know.
You know, it's like,
to whom it may
let's just say we're shooting for Fearless Records right now. Dear Fearless Records, we are Rozu from Denver, Colorado. We came together, short little bio, just like what our background is. We're a post-hardcore band. This is our first release. This is our numbers. Like, we've played this band with this band, who's a nationally well-known band, in front of X amount of kids. We've toured X amount of times. Here's our new song that we are shopping to you because we would love to work with your family.
Yeah.
And they're going to see those numbers and everything, and they're going to be like, okay, cool, fucking tight. And if they like you, then they're going to hit you up, and they're going to say, you guys are going to be under review for the next 6 months. Yeah. Or sometimes if you have notable people already in their band, they're going to be like, cool, we know that you can do it. We like your music. We like your sound. Let's do this. But, like, it used to be in the past where, like, you did, like, a one page, but now, like, where it's like, okay, here's this really cool review that we did. We've done these, we have this touring experience. Here's our promo. And then here's a link to a song. Where nowadays, you just write up a short little thing that's personalized to them. Fucking put your socials in there.
Yeah.
They're going to look at your engagement, and they're going to look at your numbers. If they're interested, so they're going to look at your Facebook. You have X amount of followers with this amount of percentage just looking at it of engagement.
That's huge. A lot of people think
if you have over 50% engagement, they're already hooked, because especially with Facebook, it's hard. Nowadays, it's turned over more to Instagram.
Do they look at organic reach?
Absolutely.
Or, okay.
To be honest with you, they don't give a fuck about organic reach or not, because there's a pro and a con to it. Like, alright, so you make a post on Facebook and you promote the post, and because that's how you have to do it now with their fucking stupid algorithms. It's stupid. Bring MySpace back. Please do it right.
For people who don't know, because I actually had to explain this to somebody the other day. When you have a business or a band or something of that nature, when you make a post, you could have 1,000 people who like you or follow you. You make a post and it goes out there, and maybe 100 people will see you organically, because there's so much stuff being posted to Facebook all the time that it gets buried. Or say Susie hasn't been to your page in a couple months. Susie's not going to see it because Susie's been to this band's page recently, so Susie is going to see this band's page, but not yours. She likes them both, but she hasn't engaged with yours. So what you have to do, fortunately, unfortunately, is you have to put money into your post, which it's called boosting. And by doing that, it will, push your post to the front of the line, and the people who like you, whether they've engaged with you recently or not, will see your post.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, in the terms of, we have 1,000 likes on Facebook. If you post something, 9 out of 10 times, only out of 1,000, due to the algorithms, only maybe 50 people will see that.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, dude. There's just
all the time.
Social media is just every second, every fucking day, and
I don't know about you, but I feel like a big problem with that is when Facebook started putting out so many videos and
Yeah.
I mean, you scroll through your feed and it's just people sharing video, you know what I mean?
And you know,
Or
that's,
memes.
if you want to get around the paying,
Just have your
here's
friends.
a little band tip. Here's a little band tip.
Tip.
So, you're in a band, right? You have a release coming up. How many bands are you good friends with? Like, as a whole, bands.
Yes.
How many bands? Like,
You're
are
saying you as in like
yeah,
the
like,
royal you.
no,
not
like
me.
like you as in the Backseaters.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
how many people, how many bands would you say if you're like, hey man, I need you to have my back on something? How many?
Quite a few because we're polite and genuine and support the scene.
So
Not to
so let's-
toot my own horn, but
let's
I couldn't
say-
give you an.
let's say 16, just
Yeah.
as a number. So how many members are normally in a band? 4 or 5?
At least,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Or at least 3.
you talk to them, you say, hey boys, we have a single coming up. It's going to
Mhm.
release at this time on YouTube. We're going to make a little link that's going to have part of the song with the link to the YouTube. To get to-
YouTube though.
yeah. I just say YouTube because Facebook, your video quality is shit.
Truth.
Uh,
But-
Colin or Colton
Yeah.
in your band.
Yeah.
This is a video guy as well.
Mhm.
He would agree with me. Facebook video,
Yeah.
it's shit. It kills a lot of things. You can shoot at 4K and it's being seen at like 1080i. That's dumb. Get out of here. But so regardless, you're like, okay, we're dropping the song.
Mhm.
The post is gonna go live at 1 p.m. this day.
Yeah.
Can you boys help share it within the first 10 minutes?
Oh wow.
Everyone says yes. So that means it's coming from the band page and every single personal member's page. You're going to
Yeah.
repay them in the end. But that video comes out, you have 56 shares within the first 10 minutes. You're boosted to the top of everyone's fucking timeline
Yeah.
that you've seen because it's had that much engagement.
Mhm.
So that's what it's all about. That's why these fucking memes are always at the top of my shit whenever I open up Facebook. Like, if I didn't have a band or a business,
Yeah.
I would have thrown Facebook out the window 10 years ago.
100%.
100%.
I
Twitter,
always say that.
Twitter, that's my vice. I just talk a lot of shit about the world and how shitty society is
I always
on
forget
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, don't do that with your band. Nobody fucking cares about Twitter and how many followers you have, likes, shares, whatever. If you're doing good on it, great. That's awesome. You're unique, and that might get you somewhere. But
Just
like,
be
so,
nice.
but so that's like
Fuck.
that's a band tip for you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to pay any money. I mean, shit. We did this with Almost Maine.
Oh yeah.
With the Post Malone cover.
Okay. Yeah, those guys they're cool.
So, you know, I had sat down with them and we had talked about how they were gonna release it, and we all had the same idea of getting this giant group of people together. So they had a huge Facebook like group chat.
Yeah.
And they reached out to all these guys that were in bands or just personal friends,
They didn't
peop-
reach out to me.
people that back their shit no matter what. Like, you find those kids that are like, I don't care if I'm in the fucking hospital with a cold, getting a tetanus shot, I just fell off my skateboard, I'm breaking, no matter what, at 1 p.m., I'm looking at my phone and I'm hitting share
Yeah.
immediately, and I'm writing a comment about it. And that's what they did, and within the first hour, 2,000 plays.
That's a lot.
Without putting any money behind it
0.
for the posts. Zero money.
Yeah.
They put money into it after, yes, but zero monies. So you look at that, and especially if like you're reaching out to that label and you're like, we have this release this day, we would love for you to check it out. If you release it at 1 and say like the label is actually, you know, listening, interested, looks at it at 1:30, just to like be like, let's see how good they are, and they see that it's at 2,000.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
good.
That looks
That's
good for
that's
sure.
when they just hit a light bulb and they're like, yeah, we'll take their publishing rights. We'll maybe throw them on a tour.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, and that's what like you and I were talking about earlier, where it's like we have the tools, just learn how to use the tools and use them to your advantage. Like, that's what I love about Spotify, with like how they have the demographics, where you can see, like, I see that you guys are actually pretty well played in Europe.
For real though.
Yeah, like
I know I joke about that.
Like, I know that you joke about it, but like, dude, that's seriously something that you guys should like
cash in on.
Not so much cash
Not
in on,
not in the money.
but look into that.
Yeah.
Because, dude, like, if you have a good demographic in Europe, start researching promoters. Start researching bands out there. This is what Victory Heights did with Scream Blue Murder.
Yeah.
You know, they Carl just happened to stumble into a club, saw this band play. They're like, dude, we'll give you 2 weeks in America if you give us 2 weeks in Europe. That's how it used to be.
Yeah.
Now Spotify, you can be like, okay, we have over 400 unique listeners in the UK alone, and just in different areas of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Hit up a promoter that books that. The UK is very small.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally drive from Colorado to Dallas, Texas, and you just drove the whole entire UK plus some.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very small place.
Different countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, you can go all the way from Wales down to Scotland in the same amount of time that you go from Colorado to Texas. So, like, if you have that, then you can be like, okay, well, we're going to shoot this promoter. You can hit that promoter up and you can be like, okay, this is the unique listeners that we have. Do you think that we have a shot of booking things out here? And then from there, of course, you have got to, like, run your numbers financially, because you're probably back in this whole entire thing with your numbers. But if the financials are there and you want to take that risk, at least you know that you have somewhat of a demographic there. You have people that are actually fucking caring and listening to your music. That's going to give you a better chance than being like, hey, we're going to go fuck off and play in Wyoming where there's no one living up there.
Yeah, except for my family.
Yeah, except for your family.
But they don't
really live in Wyoming. Are they the two ones that live there?
The 6, yes.
The 6
out of all 7 people there.
The population of Wyoming is all Jake's family over here. I love it.
Yep, pretty much. But
you know, it's just coming down to that thing, you know, where we're saying where it's like, you can take that leap of faith, and you can know that at least you have a better chance of succeeding, because nothing's ever 100%, you know, but you have that better chance. Like, we have a good
back in the day, you wouldn't even know.
No,
you book something in Europe, you're going on a whim.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of the bands back in the day that were really tight, that like never really got to that level, wore themselves out. Like, look at like A Kiss for Jersey.
Don't know that one.
What? You should look them up. They're tight. But or like even like,
The Armada.
Yeah, look at the Armada. The Armada was tight, but they never broke to that next level.
Yeah.
And they wore themselves out because they were trying to get on the road so much. But if you get on the road so much and you're not out with someone who's already going to bring a crowd that you're going to try to win that crowd over on, you're not going to do anything.
Or if you haven't played the social media game before.
Or the social media game. Like, I love this, dude. Like, a lot of local bands, this is why a lot of local bands are like, all right, dude, we went on a couple tours and now we're done.
Yeah.
But now we have these tools to be like, okay, we have good listeners in Texas. So, like, yeah, we might take a little bit of a longer drive and a little bit more financial hit, but it's going to be way more economical. To where it's like, all right, we're not going to take a chance in Salt Lake. We're not going to take a chance in Tucson. We're not going to take a chance in Oklahoma City. We're going to play this state that we have good listeners in. We're going to play this city that we have good listeners in. We're going to play this good city that we have listeners in. And it's funny because with Spotify now, when you open up Spotify and you're like, I'm going to look at the backseaters.
Yeah.
I live in Europe. And they're going to be like, automatically you're just seeing that you're in the city that you're in listening to a band. If you have a show in that city, it's going to immediately tell you that you have that show in that city.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, holy fuck, this band that I like from America is coming here.
They're here.
Obviously, I'm going to go to that.
Soon.
Or try to go to that.
I hate that. Yeah, I'm really going to try, man.
Sorry, dude, I was busy.
You can usually just write that one off.
Yeah.
No offense.
9 out of 10 times I am busy. If I don't come to your show, I'm sorry. I work 40 hours plus manage plus have my own band plus try to have a life.
kind of going back to something you briefly touched on that kind of correlates with that is if you're gonna hit up all 16 of those bands and have all their members promote your shit, you better fucking make damn sure that when they put something out,
You do the exact same.
yeah,
That's
because
what
if you
builds a
don't,
scene.
yeah, and that's what can really blackball you, and people can be like, you know what, this band, you know, takes and doesn't give anything back.
Dude, that's what builds a scene.
100%.
Nobody, when you ask people what builds a scene, and they're like, the community. Okay, dude, but you like this band.
Yeah.
You run with this clique, this crew, whatever the fuck you call it. I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned, but like
They're crews.
you're literally what are
They're crews.
they're crews?
Yeah.
So like your crew reps these 4 bands, and you're gonna go to a show to a band that doesn't rep your crew or says something negative about your crew, basically just calling out that crews are fucking stupid. Sorry, I'll say it first. If you want to come to my show and kick my ass, feel free. But you're fucking dumb and I hate you. I don't hate you. I don't hate anybody. I take that back. But no, dude, that doesn't build a scene.
You're
That
so
builds
confident.
that builds a small community
Yeah, for sure.
within a
It's
small
limited.
number of bands.
Yeah.
To where if everyone was like, okay, dude, I'm gonna support this pop punk band because they're fucking killing it. But I'm also gonna support this post-hardcore band because their members are really awesome, nice dudes, and they're killing it. I'm also gonna support this metal act that's coming up that needs work, but you know they're good dudes. They got good drive. The right intentions are behind them. They're just not quite there with their music yet. You support them, and that's what builds a scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why scenes die, dude. Like, I mean, you've toured, dude.
Yeah.
We have an okay scene. It's a roller coaster,
Yeah.
but the general population of 70% of the local markets in this country do not understand that, nor even try to give a shit to help that out.
Yeah.
And they're like, but why don't you come to my city?
Yeah.
8 out of 10 times they came the night before and you're just dumb. or they're just not coming because there's no reason for them to come.
Yeah.
Why?
I have to give mad props real quick to Rapid City, South Dakota. There's a band from there. They were a band called Clock Strikes Midnight, but regardless, we played, and that was one of the best shows we played. Was at this place called the West Dakota Improv in South Dakota, Rapid City, and like all the kids came out and they were telling us about how they go out to like every show, touring bands, because they're building their scene in like little Rapid City. But Amarillo does the same thing. Like all those dudes out there, they're super nice, like, and super supportive, but they have this venue that they all go to. If there's a show, they're going, you know?
It's Life Spot.
Yeah.
That's what Life Spot used to be. Like
I didn't know half the bands who were playing.
You didn't go to Life Spot because this band's playing. You went to Life Spot because it was Saturday and a show was happening and you knew it and you were going to see music.
Hell yeah.
And like, that's it. And now it's just like, okay, well, you can't sell this amount of tickets. You can't sell this amount of tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're gonna have you on our opening show. We're gonna sell it it's gonna be our music video show. We want you to open and sell 150 tickets. Why the fuck is an opening band selling 150 tickets?
Yeah. So that half their fans can get there.
How many
through
tickets
the
are you
set.
selling? It's a 200 cap room.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that. A little band that we were talking about earlier did that. And it's stupid. And that's what kills scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, San Diego used to be such a good scene, and like my buddy Tyler that like I write my music with, we have the same talk 'cause it's very similar.
Yeah.
That scene's dead.
Really?
No, there's like 3 bands coming out of San Diego. That's
I
it.
couldn't tell you who they were.
Yeah, like 1,000 Below Secrets and like Capsizes from around the area,
Yeah.
Day Seekers from all over California, but there's not that many like local bands coming out of San Diego anymore because it got way too cliquey
Yeah.
and way too crewy to where it's like we're only gonna promote this shit, we're not just gonna go to Soma for the shit of it. We're only gonna go to Soma. These kinds of bands are playing, and that sucks because it's one of the coolest venues ever.
Well, that's how Blink got put on, was from people who went to Soma, like people went to Live Spot.
Dude, As I Lay Dying.
They did too.
Where'd they start? Soma.
Green Day, Soma.
Yeah. And now, I mean, dude, we went and played Soma last year. Like, the last tour that I was on, we played Soma. And,
It's
dude,
not the
like,
same.
no, man. No local bands brought anybody.
Yeah.
The local bands that showed up to where we were the only touring band and there was 5 other bands in total brought 20 people. Like, granted, you got to bring kids to a show. If you can't bring kids to a show, then try harder.
You can bring adults too.
Or don't. Yeah, I mean adults, but people, humans.
Sorry, I make dad jokes sometimes.
Dude, I love it.
I know.
Just as this keeps going, I just grow more and more fond of you.
Dude, fucking same.
But you know, it's just stuff like that where it's just like, you know, if don't start a band podcast. If you want to start a band, work hard.
100%.
And if you don't work hard, and you're playing in cruddy little venues in front of maybe one drunk guy that was at the bar just to come for $2 PBRs that night.
Definitely
And
play
you
at those
ask,
shows.
and you ask why people aren't coming to your shows. Yeah. Maybe reflect in and think why people aren't coming to your shows. Is it your music? Is it because you won't put one post on Facebook and just expected 200 people to show up?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's easy, and it's just all about work ethic and drive.
Exactly.
If you don't got that, you should try to find something else to do. Like, to be honest with you, it's such an oversaturated market. Try it, you know?
Yeah.
What's the hardest industry to get into next to movies? Well, I'm going to put this all together. The entertainment industry. It's the hardest industry to work in. It's the hardest industry to be a part of.
100%.
The only, you know, some people, there are those exceptions where they put out one good song or a great cover.
White Iverson.
I prevail. Dude, don't even start me with Post Malone, man. That guy fucking kills.
Dude, I like Post Malone, but it's
but
cool
he was
how it happened.
he was grinding for so long, dude.
Yeah,
like with White Iverson, like labels were hitting him up and they're like, "We will pay you this much right now." And he's like, "Ha, nah, fuck it, I'm good."
Well, Mac Miller did that for the longest time.
Yeah.
Didn't, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Did his own
it's
thing.
like, nah, dude, fuck it, I'm good. And you know, like, and a lot of people like trash on these people, and it's like, all right, dude, Post was grinding out way before that, dude. Little Aaron. So my buddy Tyler was doing. He has his own podcast called the Blackgate Co Collective, and he was doing a podcast with our buddy Scott, who played in a band with Little Aaron like 8 years ago.
Really?
And then Little Aaron just dipped off the face of the earth. Granted, his music's not that good in my opinion. It's really bad. I don't know why it's so sick. AP, what have you done?
I've never heard of Lil Aaron.
He's like the main face for like emo night now and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
We'll listen to his music after this. It's but regardless, that dude's blowing up right now.
Yeah.
He's grinded. He found a little niche, grew on it, killed it, got in with the right people, networked a lot.
Yeah.
Has that good personality where people just like him. Like, he just fucking put out like some video of him just like dancing in a party to his own music, and it's getting like 60,000 views in the first day.
That'd be nice.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, and that's just the thing. And like, he didn't stop. Like, you know, there's that exception where you get a little lucky, but he grinded, and all these people are grinding. Like, the people that get there are grinding.
Well, I wasn't shitting on Post Malone. I was just saying, like, that's one of those exception stories where he posted it, and the next morning had reposts from Mac Miller, Wiz.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, dude, like, that...
It's a good song.
It's a great song. And, like, for him, I mean, he was sitting on that for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed it to the right people and had these networks and these connections. People saw it, and they're like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, I'm going to send this out. My boy's actually doing it. Same shit with Hobo Johnson, dude.
Yeah.
You know? He had some good networks, good connections, and they're like, he wrote a pretty damn good song. I'm gonna share this, you know.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
This
Like,
is
if
the
you're also-
second podcast that we've talked about Hobo Johnson.
Really?
Yeah, Phil likes Hobo Johnson.
I've only heard that one song, but like.
Oh, this is my shit.
Yep. But you know, like a lot of people are shitting on him. I'm like, cool, dude. If people are gonna shit on you, you're still getting views and likes and money and revenues.
Shit on me, just do it publicly.
Dude, Ronnie Radke's the king of that.
Yeah, yeah.
King of it. Listen to lyrics of the new single that says "Put Down." You're gonna be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Like, people always ask why he's so famous, why his bands are so good. He's a talented performer.
Mm-hmm.
He's an alright songwriter. He had, you know, that stint that kind of made him big and like the feud with like his new band, Skid Fit and all that. But it doesn't matter if people hate you, because even if people hate you that much, they're still talking about you.
Especially in this day and age on the internet.
And from people hating you that much and talking about it, dude, look at 6ix9ine. That guy's music's fucking trash. He's a little fucking pedophile and all that, but no matter what, whenever I open up fucking Facebook or Instagram or anything, it's like I see something about him. And it could be
he's
positive.
top story on Snapchat a lot
Yeah,
too.
it could be positive, it could be negative, but no matter what, people are looking at that guy, and from that, he is generating so much revenue from his shit trash music.
Yeah.
And it's absurd. But that's the day and age that we live in.
It's a weird one.
We're
in a very weird. Like if you take a step outside of it and you're like, this is a joke.
Yeah.
This is a joke, right? You guys are fucking with me.
Because like, dude, I mean like,
it's not nice.
Up until about 15 minutes ago when we went on this little tangent, we were telling really good tips to people in bands.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were giving them really good advice, a lot of stuff that my musical advisors and kind of mentors have given me.
And personal
experiences. Like, they've given me this advice that I love to share with people, but, like, it's not always going to work. And that's why you just got to keep grinding. And at the end of the day, content's king.
Yeah. Well, and everything's just constantly changing too. Is like what works for Rozu is not going to work for the Backseaters.
Oh, absolutely not. Well, it could.
Yeah.
It could. I mean,
you're right.
You take the tools and you put your own twist to it.
But it might not work for John Mooney and the Sunscreen Sideburns.
It might not.
That's my underground, like, you know how Green Day had Foxborough Hot Tubs?
That's a dope-ass band.
John Mooney and the Sunscreen Sideburns?
It reminded me of...
Don't fucking take that.
That reminds me of That Thing You Do. You ever see that movie?
I love that movie.
Well,
the O-Neaters!
That's our soccer team name, by the way. Our indoor soccer team.
The O-Neaters?
The Wonders.
Oh, nice.
But it's...
The
O-Neaters.
Yeah.
God, what was their fucking the movie band? They're like
Captain Shooter Crab Shack.
Captain Gee and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. Best band name of all time.
Dude, I love that actor that's like the lead guitar player, and he was in that movie Sahara as well. Like that dude is just so funny.
Dude, so fucking good. I don't know, dude. It's all about getting out there and grinding, networking.
For sure.
Making friends.
What inspires you to keep you going? Like, on bad days, good days, what is that one thing where you could be zoning out and then you just come back to and you're like, I'm inspired to keep going?
For me...
2 parts. Okay, sorry. 2 parts. So what inspires to keep you going, like, band-wise and music writing-wise?
Ooh, shit.
Here we go.
Band-wise, the thing that keeps me going is I put a goal to myself 5 years ago, and I'm not going to stop until that goal is completed.
Okay.
Which is filling fully fulfilled by everything that I've done, and I can look back on the past 10 years, and even if like I had rough times, hard times, lost friendships, new friendships, anything, no matter what happens, I live with no regrets, and I get to that goal that I want to be in. And it's not even that big of a goal.
Yeah.
It's a good milestone. When I hit that milestone, hopefully I will go for the next milestone. And that's kind of my drive. Is just I'm just that way though.
Yeah. I'm that way.
I've always got to be doing something. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck, dude. Like the first thing that I did, like on my own business wise, was I started a clothing company. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I
Do you still have it or?
No. Kind of. Yeah, kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
I have a whole lot of ideas, but I put a lot of financial backing towards band as opposed to
Yeah.
that. But that, I mean, that was essentially what was feeding me on tour
Really?
with Victory Heights. Tour
What was it
management.
called?
DFR, Dream for Reality.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know, and it's just that I just want to do shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm just that guy where I'm like, okay, I want to learn this. I'm gonna learn that.
That's what this is.
Like I went to, yeah, that's what this is. You know, like I want to like right now I'm learning like more how to record. So that's what
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing in the 3 hours of free time I have every day of my entire life. Is I waste
That's
out on
awesome.
sleep and I'm looking at YouTube videos, musically, and this kind of goes hand in hand with motivation for band, and then
Mhm.
musically what drives me is my past and not repeating the same mistakes. Like a lot of our music, for me lyrically at least, has been about either times where I've let myself down or let somebody else down.
Yeah.
Being, you know, my stint in college where I was just a complete train wreck, to where I ruined, you know, some of the best relationships I've ever had in my entire life with some of the best dudes that I just don't, or dudes or girls that I just don't even talk to anymore.
Yeah.
And not making that mistake again. And then I always go into a song to where I can write you the saddest shit about my life ever, but no matter what, there's going to be something in there that's going to have that show of hope.
Yeah.
You know, to where it's like we're humans, we all go through similar situations with different circumstances, to where we've all had someone die. We've all had a relationship that's failed. We've all been heartbroken. We've all hit our lowest points.
Yeah.
If you haven't hit your lowest point yet,
Watch out.
It's gonna happen
Yeah.
inevitably at some point. If you just go through your whole entire life with a fucking golden spoon up your ass, please call me and let me know how you did it, because I would love to hear that and write a story about it later. But you know, it's that, and that's what gets me driving and going, to whether it's one person or hundreds of people. If somebody connects with my music or my band the way that I've connected with albums like Define the Great Line,
Yeah.
you know, that whole album is about Spencer going through very, very similar things to what I was going through
Yeah.
at that time. And that album right there, I used to listen to on repeat because it would help me get through those darkest times. If one person can connect with that, like I connected with that, my whole entire life is fulfilled.
You and
Like-
I have the same
like, I'm stoked.
aspiration.
I'm
that way.
stoked about that, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, fuck, dude. Like, I haven't done anything like huge and big. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like sometimes it seems like, hey, dude, Tim, you've done some cool shit. Like, you're here. No, I'm here.
Yeah.
But you know, everything looks good on paper. But it's like, if I can be at the level that I'm at, where I've never been on a label, I've never been on a like insanely huge tour, I've been on a couple bigger shows, but if I have somebody that like is ever like, you're your music and your lyrics, I felt that and it helped me.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the greatest thing that you can ever do. Because for me, for music, I'm getting shit off my chest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting out. Like, there's a reason why a lot of my music is still from times that happened in my life almost 10 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I keep shit in. I don't talk about it a lot. I'm getting better with that. I'm trying to get a lot better with that. But like, dude, like, none of my friends knew that, like, the shit that was happening to me when I was in UNC. Like, fuck, my roommate didn't even know that, like, I was having a huge drinking problem. My best friend didn't know I was having a huge drinking problem until that day that I had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
You know, because my pancreas was fucking dying. And, like, I hadn't talked to my mom in 6 months. And she came up and she saw me, like, literally dying. And she's like, you're going to the hospital right now. And, like, you know, and it's like, I bottle stuff in and this is my outlet. So no matter what, I'm always going to create, whether it's just writing, music, scripts, anything. Like, even if it was a fucking photo of, I'm like, that angle and that little flower right there makes me feel this way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post that. Like, that's just what I'm gonna do. Is I'm trying to express myself and get shit off my chest while hopefully helping somebody else out.
Yeah.
That maybe is very similar to me. Which there's a lot of those out there. I mean, like, dude, like, how many fucking people have we lost in, like, the past, not even 6 months, but, like, the past 2 years to, like, depression, drug overdose, all that fun stuff. Like, so much of this is happening right now. And this is the thing that these are the things that I'm trying to talk about the most within our music. It's just like, why the fuck is this happening?
Yeah.
You know, dude, like, I grew up, dude, Chester, the day that Chester passed away and killed himself, essentially, like, dude, I fucking broke down. Like, I've had the personal experience of meeting that guy, being in the fucking studio with them while they were writing that album.
For real?
Yep. Got to spend a day in the studio with them. It was incredible. Chatted with him, seemed like the happiest guy in the world, but I knew in his lyrics always that there was a dark side to him.
Yeah.
A lot of people did. And when that actually happened, dude, like, fuck, man. The fact that we can be so low that it gets to that point, all I want to do is that never get to that point and help somebody else from never getting to that point.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anybody to have that. I mean, I've woken up at parties where having some of my friends OD dead on the floor. You know, like, you know, it's shit like that. And, like, I don't want anyone to ever get to that point in their life. And
or have to deal with somebody,
to deal with that.
You know, yeah.
You know,
sure.
like, I had to cut, you know, you have to cut some ties. You have to do this shit. But this is my outlet to hopefully help one person out, if not more. And that's what drives me every day.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I mean, I've had a couple people say that, you know, they feel it and they relate to it, but the thing for me is, like, I have personally told the lead singer of The Dangerous Summer that, like, his music changed my life. And, like, I have this ability not to, you know, sound narcissistic, but sometimes I'm good at making analogies and putting things into words that, like, people will have a feeling and I will make an analogy or say something and they'll be like, that's exactly how I'm feeling, and I didn't even know, like, what to say about it. So, like, it's almost like being a translator for people's emotions, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, you know, we're glorified, you know, from vocalist to vocalist, we're glorified storytellers, but for like, we also write about some real shit and not just like, oh, well, this sounds cool.
Yeah.
I feel like this is gonna get that 16-year-old girl to my show. Like, I don't fucking care who comes to my show as long as somebody comes to my show and actually connects with it.
For sure.
You know? Like, dude, like, as you were saying with, like, 5 Seconds of Summer, dude, like, I've always disliked the I like and dislike the aspect of VIP packages. Because I feel like and I understand it because you have to economically do that now to make money on tour and go home and pay your bills and feed your family and feed yourself and,
But
have a place to live, but at the same time, I feel like the true people are the ones that are always at the merch table after, without it, meeting everyone.
Yep.
But like, the first ever VIP package that I bought was for this upcoming Under Oath show.
Yeah.
Just because, dude, that new album's fire, by the way. If you think that album's shit, or if anyone does, I don't like you very much. You have bad taste. But no, I literally bought a VIP package, and I tell my band this, like, they're like, you really bought one of those? Like, you're so against that. I'm like, I literally just want to go in there. I don't even want to have a photo op with them. I literally just want to go in, have a one-on-one with them, and shake their hand and thank them for writing music that has helped me out.
I did that with Brian Fallon outside the summit, and like,
dude, that's all I want to do is I just want
Almost
to
started
Spencer,
crying.
you know what? Define the Great Line got me through some really hard times. And I appreciate you so much for doing that and coming back with an album like the new one that you had, to where you're finally reflecting on it, because I've been reflecting on my shittiest times for the past 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
You know? And like, thank you for giving me an outlet to like help inspire me and help me grow as a person, even though that you weren't intending on it, you were just writing your own shit, but thank you. Like, that's all I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
Is that so much to ask for?
that's the coolest thing about being in a band.
Yes.
Literally, is just having that outlet of getting shit on your chest, off your chest, and if that's what you want to do it.
For sure.
But you know, that's the shit that gets me going. Is that pretty much like similar to what gets you going, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Like, I mean, it is definitely an outlet for like things that I feel, and just like music, and especially like we were talking about drums. Playing drums is like my number one.
Yeah.
And I can play drums and be in a whole nother universe, not even like know that this world exists. Same with, you know, doing guitar. And like the beautiful thing about having this studio is I can have an idea, like our song Vixen. I just woke up with that word stuck in my head. For some reason, I just thought of that word, didn't know what it meant, thought it meant bad habit or something. Came in here and wrote a whole song around that one word. And like, I just kept going, and I was stoked and stoked and stoked. And then, yeah, I don't know. I can't, it's definitely, I'm trying to think of something other than what you said, but it's definitely what you said.
Yeah, it's similar.
A dream of mine is to have somebody say that I helped them through something in their life, and also as an outlet to, you know, because when you write maybe a specific event or something in your life that happened, and you put it in a song, and it's out on Spotify or iTunes, it's out there forever. You put that note in the fucking little sailboat, and you pushed it out into the sea.
Dude, you put yourself out there, and then some kid just responds, that shit's fucking gay. And you're like, goddamn you, guy. But
that dude's already living a miserable life.
yeah, he is.
If he, is following you,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
He listens to your shit, and he's like, this is stupid. And it's like,
yeah,
thanks for commenting, guy. You at least watched it. That's a fraction of a cent in my pocket.
Yeah. Things I don't like, I just go, it's not my favorite. Exit.
I like to call those guys Bill for some reason.
Bill?
All their names are Bill. I don't know why.
No offense to the good Bills out there.
To the good Bills, hit me up. I've only met like 2 of you.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet more. But that's crazy, that Vixen. Like, I've had so many of those, dude.
Yeah.
Like, even tonight, I have a melody at work, and I like had to like, I was helping out a customer. I was like, oh, no. I was like, yeah, I'll be right back. And I like go into my phone. And I'm like, da 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 da, ha ha, you know, just some bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm like, that melody is gonna be there for later.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna turn that into a song one day.
Yeah, for sure. So, if you could take, because we've put a lot of advice and information out on this podcast, just like a shitload to digest. Like, even when I go back and listen to it, because yes, I will.
Same.
It will be good to like write down things, because in the heat of conversation we're bouncing ideas off each other, we're saying so much shit that is probably like really good. So you know what I mean, there's so much stuff. But if someone was like, whew, that was a lot, and they're, you know, getting close to the end of the podcast, and you have to give one piece of advice, one encompassing like piece of advice.
Like, as in just start a band? Or
Yeah,
like
so
within a
maybe
band?
for people who are starting a band, and then for people who already got a band going.
The biggest piece of advice is surround yourself with people that drive you.
Praise.
Surround yourself with people that you can literally live in close quarters with, that no matter what happens, even if you, like, homie steals your fucking underwear, and it's your last pair of underwear, and you're like, guy, you took my fucking underwear, I hate you, fuck you, want to get a sandwich?
I'm pooping in your shoe.
Like, that's my biggest piece of advice, is find those people that you want to, A, be around with, that you can get over small shit very quickly, and people that you're gonna put an idea out there, they're gonna give you more to your idea, and you're gonna build off it. Like, people that are driving with you, and not people that are just along for the ride.
And who have the same motivation as you too.
Yeah, it's just surround yourself with like-minded people. Like,
that's very big.
If someone is just Mr. fucking Negative Nancy, they're like, oh, this show sucked.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we just got to play 30 minutes of music and do something that we all should be loving to do if we're in a fucking band.
Don't start a band unless you love it.
And then it's a happy time, because I don't care. Like, you're going to learn. If you're a DIY musician, I'm sure you played in front of 2 kids. I'm sure you played in front of 0 kids. I'm sure you played in front of really good crowds.
I played in front of, at the Lions Lair, we played a show played a show at the Lions Lair, and the only person in that building, the sound guy that night, had gone somewhere else while we played, and the bartender was leaning on the bar with his back to us watching the TV, and I was like, you know what? This is a public practice. We're on a stage, which we're usually not on.
Glorified band practice.
Exactly.
That's all
like,
that it is.
And if you fuck up, and that's also a good time because you have that energy that you're playing a show. And so you can try new things, and if you try something because you have that energy and that hype of playing live, and you try something, you know, a little out of your realm, and you like it, you know, you learn more than you would rather than if you were having a standard band practice in your basement.
Yep.
So
do it for the right reasons. I mean,
definitely don't do it to be famous.
No, best advice is
you're gonna burn out if you do it to be famous.
Yep, this is true, because you're never gonna be famous, you're never gonna be rich unless if you're really, really lucky. Because even the most talented people are not rich. Look at Seosin. Actually, they make buku bucks. But I take that back. But dude, for that example, as I said, like with your Lions Lair, we played on this tour. The night before we played in front of 3 kids. The next night we got a really lucky opportunity to where we got to open up for the Rise Records tour. And like played in front of a lot more kids.
Yeah.
And that was like with Secrets, Dance Gavin Dance, the owner of Rise Records band, Aurora what is their fucking band's name? They wrote this super cool song called Aurora Avenue, and I can't think of their name, and it's making me upset now. But regardless, with highs comes lows, with lows comes highs, that's life. There's a yin to yang every day.
Yeah.
Most people think it's yin and yang. It's not. It's yin yang.
Yan?
Yeah.
Like Y-A-N?
Mm-hmm. It's yin to the yin, even though the G's there. I'm pretty positive. I don't know. I talked to some guy that was from Japan one time. He could have been fucking with me. I'm that guy that gets Sanskrit for love and instead it sells like jihad or something like that on it.
Yeah,
But
I couldn't tell you
But no.
at all.
no, biggest piece of advice is just find the right group of people that all have that same mindset, same drive, to where you're not burning yourself out trying to do everything, and just go for it. Write good music, good content done consistently, and go for it. And if you need someone to market your shit, hit me up. I'll do it for a very small price.
I agree 100%. So tell us about this song that we're going to be hearing.
Ooh, so we have chosen one of our 2 singles. I wish it could have been another single, but I can't do that yet because
Come on,
I'm
who
not
really listens to the Don't
I'm-
Start a Band podcast?
a lot of people in Europe,
Yeah, well,
they think your
you know.
shit fucks.
Yeah, but you want them to
Nah.
dig on Rozu.
You can wait for this one; it'll be a banger. But
Okay.
the next song this song that is coming up is called "Faceless." It was our second song that we released, and it's pretty much talking about a man. It's kind of like a third-person perspective of inner reflection and outer reflection, to where it's talking on these topics of personally me going through a really rough time in my life, and kind of how we all have this inner dialogue within ourselves going through these hard times. And it's pretty much just saying, if people are honestly genuinely caring about you and trying to help you out, instead of shutting them out and putting these masks on and trying to either live a numb life or hide your pain, let them in. Let the voices in. Let those people console you, because if they really, truly, genuinely care about you, they only want nothing but the best for you. So let those people in instead of shutting them away and masking your pain with vices.
Drugs and alcohol want your soul. The people who love you want only for you. You know?
Is that one of your lyrics?
No.
That's tight. I'm gonna steal that.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Check out the next single featuring that line.
Hell yeah. See,
Are we just gonna do like a Sad Boy collab project now? Cause I'm so down.
maybe. See, by that silence though, I said that and I was like, oh, did that sound stupid? Like a stoner thought? I was like, oh god.
No, that could be a cool
Yeah.
lyric.
Drugs and alcohol want your soul. The people who love you.
What'd you say?
Oh!
Fuck, we lost. Now we're gonna have to listen back to this. See, this is good.
The people who love you want only for you and not for themselves. Something along that. It's on the record.
It's on the record, and we're gonna listen back to that, and that's gonna be the next single
YouTube,
from
Apple
that.
Podcasts, Google Play Music. Subscribe. Oh, also, sorry to hijack your podcast.
Oh, you're all good.
Actually, you know what?
No,
When I record the
hijack
intro,
it.
no. When I have the intro, I'll tell everybody about the Instagram and the Facebook and stuff that we have now. So
Oh yeah, follow that shit.
DSAB Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it,
Hell yeah. Well,
and then follow Rozu.
definitely. Rozu_official. They're at, in case you don't remember that, their Instagram at is in the description on YouTube, and it is in the description, it will be in the description on Apple Podcasts and Google Play Music as well.
Google Play
So.
Music.
Yes.
Are you guys on Napster yet? Sorry, I digress.
I don't think so. Is Napster still a thing?
Yeah, we're on Napster apparently.
I want to know if the Backseaters is on Napster.
Dude.
I know we're on iHeartRadio, which is pretty dope.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I saw that like we got like 5 cents of revenue from Napster. I was
Holy
like,
shit.
fuck yeah. Somebody listens to Napster stuff? Fuck yeah.
It's that same guy.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Sean
anyway.
Parker. It's not
I don't know who that is.
him. That was the guy who started Napster.
Oh,
Or, as I like to call him, JT. because JT portrayed him in that Facebook movie, Social
Oh,
Work
okay.
or whatever. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Didn't you?
I've learned so much. I have a fucking headache.
I'm sorry for all the information, TJ. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you so much for coming on, and don't apologize for all the information because I personally have learned a lot from this, and I hope that everybody else will get something from it for sure.
For real.
And from Rozu's music.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Don't
now
start-
that people like know
Yeah.
what it's about and what you're actually feeling, you know what I mean? Like some people, I'm definitely guilty of this where I'll listen to like a heavy song or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'll jam it because it's like sounds like a good song, but I don't know exactly what they're saying, and then
Yeah.
you go through and listen to the lyrics, and you're like, oh, fuck, I love this song.
Well, it's
now.
even better when like you make your own interpretation of listening to something right off the bat.
For sure.
Where
That's
it's
why
like,
I stay
he's
like
talking about God.
Yeah.
He's talking about drugs. He's
That's why I
talking
stay
about a girl.
relatively vague in some of my lyrics.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't want people to go, okay, that's what's going on in Jake's life. I want them to go like, okay, yeah, I think you wrote this song about my life.
But
So
you're vague to a point where you're very similar to me, to where you're vague but you're very upfront.
yeah,
You're direct, and I like that. Don't sugarcoat shit.
yeah.
Keep it direct.
I try
Get the message out there.
for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well,
Swag.
thank you so much for coming on the Don't Start a Band podcast, episode number 12.
Numero 12. Gracias, man. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
And you are about to hear The Faceless or just Faceless?
Faceless.
Faceless by Rozu.
You.
And we're good.
And we good.
You always just need that little bit of silence.
You always need that little bit of silence, man.
Thank you.
It's a good cut. No, dude, thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody on YouTube.
Grazie, YouTube.
We're going unlive now. Bye bye.
There's still 2 people there. Bye, 2 people.
Bye, 2 people.
Love you.